You're listening to the Blue 82 podcast, hosted by Craig and Nicholas. Please like and subscribe so we know that you like what we're doing. And now, let's talk football. Blue 82!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Blue 82 podcast. I'm your host, Craig, with my co-host, Nicholas. And this is going to be episode 3 of the new 2023 NFL season. Again, like we did last episode, just recapping a couple transactions, still dealing with like the free agency thing. Got some little things to talk about with that. I guess as far as like any big news, which isn't really connected to the free agency that I kind of want to talk about for a second, would be the Lamar Jackson thing that came out this morning. I know you probably don't want to talk about it a whole lot, Nick, but I'll just mention it for anybody watching or listening. But Lamar Jackson came out today and said that he requested a trade on, what was it, March 2nd he requested a trade?
Yes.
Yeah.
Came out today.
Came out today that he said that. He also came out and like, let me pull up his tweet real quick. I should have had it ready already, but it is what it is. He came out and tweeted today, like, he said, "A letter to my fans. I want to first thank you all for all the love, support, constantly shown towards me. All of you are amazing, and I appreciate y'all so much. I want you to know not to believe everything you read about me. Let me personally answer your questions." He says, "In regards to my future plans, as of March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization for which the Ravens has not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that has met me or been around me know I love the game of football, and my dream is to help a team win a Super Bowl. You were all great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for my family and I. No matter how far I go or where my career takes me, I'll continue to be close to my fans in Baltimore, Flock Nation, the entire state of Maryland. You'll see me again." So, that tweet to me sounds like a goodbye tweet, right? In a sense. But, like I told you, Nick, I don't know if this changes anything. Just because he's franchise tagged and teams would still have to give up the 2 first rounds as of right now. I'm not totally sure if after the draft, if you can renegotiate those terms or how that works. But pretty big news coming out. In my opinion, I don't think it changes anything. What do you think, Nick?
I mean, like we've already been talking about, I don't think it changed anything at all. I think he's just stuck there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's your franchise tag? That's it. Like, you already guaranteed the contract for at least 1 year. No matter what, if he signs it or not, like, he's stuck. Like,
Yeah.
they hold his rights. So at the end of the day, he's gonna be a Baltimore Raven. I feel like, unless somebody out of the blue just gives up like a crazy offer that they can't say no to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I've heard right now that the Colts and the Falcons are teams to look forward or look into when it comes to the Lamar Jackson situation. I don't think
Colts, Falcons, maybe even the
Jets.
Like,
yeah.
That's the only teams that I feel like would have even a chance.
I think what's going to happen, Nick, is he's going to have to sign this franchise tag unless he wants to sit out a whole year, which I think is dumb. But he's going to have to play for the Ravens 1 more year and then revisit this again next year to see if he can get traded somewhere else or what they want to do. I don't know. But, yeah, I think as of right now, like, my opinion on it is I don't think it changes anything. Like, especially since I feel like he's coming out saying he requested a trade just to, like, clear his name. Because if he requested a trade, that would have already been talked about in media by now. You know what I mean? He requested it back March 2nd. Like, that's why I feel like it doesn't change much. But we'll see what happens. But that was like the one piece of big news we had. Oops. I think, let's see. This episode we're going to leave off where we started with the free agents. There's not that many. We'll get through them pretty quick. A couple trades to talk about. And then we're going to do a quarterback tier list like we did in one of the earlier episodes of the series. This is going to be a tier list of how quarterbacks that started last year performed and where we're ranking them based off of last year. Nothing else. Guess we can get started with the transactions, Nick?
Yep.
All right, so we left off, I think, on Dalton Schultz last week. Signed with the Texans, right? We got Justin Evans, safety, signed a 1 year with the Philly. Or I always say the Phillies, dude. I don't know why I do that.
Eagles.
The Eagles, yeah. Jesus. Josh Dobbs is going to be a backup in Cleveland. Couple $1 million deals for backups. Ronald Jones, running back, signed with the Cowboys. Punter for the
backup.
Yeah, punter for the Broncos. David Questenberry signed with the Bills. Corey Littleton, Texans. A lot of these are like backup players. Dante Fowler Jr. signed with the Cowboys. Isaiah McKenzie with the Colts. Bobby McCain signed with the Giants. He's older, isn't he?
Yeah, he used to play for the Dolphins, bro. He's probably like 33, 32.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for a minute.
I thought so.
Been a cornerback, a safety.
Jonathan Abrams signed with the Saints.
He was former first round pick?
First round pick for the Raiders, I believe.
Probably like 2.
Yeah.
No.
Your Dolphins signed Andrew Van Ginkel, linebacker. Is it? Okay. Yep. Y'all signed a lot of linebackers. We had
the big one right there.
Big one.
Mecole Hardman.
Yeah, Mecole Hardman. 1 year, $4.5 million deal with the Jets. Not a bad little deal for somebody that has kind of proved to be a little weapon. You know what I mean? Nothing too major, but a little $4.5 million deal. That's solid. Jalen Mills, cornerback, signed a 1 year, $6 million deal with the Patriots. Didn't they release him and now they re-signed him? I guess he couldn't go nowhere else.
I think so.
Yeah.
They probably released him because there was too much money on his contract and
That's
came
right.
back. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. Something like that.
Next we got Anthony Walker signed with the Cleveland. Denzel Perryman signed with the Texans. Not a bad signing for the Texans. Dearness Johnson signed a 1 year contract with the Jags. I like that. He has shown some good running capabilities when he was with Cleveland, but he's always been like a backup, and especially in Cleveland, he was a third stringer with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, but he's a decent little backup. Raiders signed Austin Hooper after they lost Waller. That's not bad for them. Let's see. Jamison Crowder signed with the Giants. They're signing a million wide receivers, but I feel like none of them are a top guy.
You gotta wait for the draft.
Nah, for sure. Ty Johnson re-signs with the Jets. Let's see. Duke Shelley, I think that's a re-signing with the Raiders. Eddie Pinheiro signs a 2 year contract with the Panthers. DJ Chark, 1 year, $5 million deal with Carolina. Carolina makes another move to add a weapon. Nelson Aguilar signs a 1 year, $3.25 million deal with the Ravens. They still need somebody better.
You wonder why he requested a trade?
Yeah, right? Terrell Edmonds signs a 1 year, $2 million deal with the Eagles. There we go. I didn't fuck that one up. Marquise Goodwin signs a 1 year deal with Cleveland. Oh my God. Texans signed a wide receiver. Too bad it's fucking Fitzstringer.
Bobby Wagner goes back to
the
Seahawks.
1 year, $7 million deal. I think he wanted to stay in Seattle last year. Just they didn't figure it out, so he left, and then he got released, and he's like, I'm going back home. I like that. That's good for them. Taylor Rapp signs a 1 year deal with Buffalo. That's pretty much it. Sidney Jones, cornerback, signs a contract with Cincinnati. Yeah, I think that's like we said last episode. We're kind of getting to the point where like most of the major fish have already been signed, so there's not like a whole lot of big signings or anything. There's a couple people still out there floating around waiting to see what they do, but that's gonna wrap up the transactions. Next, we got the 2 trades we got to talk about. Earlier, we mentioned the Jets signed Mecole Hardman to a 1 year, $4.5 million deal. That happened like literally the same time this trade happened. So the Jets send Elijah Moore and a 3rd-round pick to Cleveland for a 2nd-round pick. So they pretty much swap 2nd for 3rd and then send Elijah Moore over there, which I kind of expected Moore to be traded somewhere after last year and then them signing all these wide receivers. Like, you knew this was coming. I was thinking he might be packaged in the Green Bay deal for Rodgers, just so they don't have to give up as many picks. But I think this way they get a 2nd-round pick back, so if they do need to send that to Green Bay for Rodgers, they can. I think this is a good trade. I feel like the Jets maybe gave up too much for a 2nd. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I want to say he was a 2nd-round pick, right?
Yeah, he was a 2nd-round pick. So they pretty much gave up a 2nd and a 3rd for a 2nd. And I mean, I know it's weird to look at it that way, but that's kind of how you look at it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think Elijah Moore is better than the guys that they've been signing. Like Miko Hardman, you're gonna tell me he's better? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not only that, he's cheaper too.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, it's like you got Miko Hardman, and then they also brought in, what was the Packers one?
Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard.
Yeah.
So it's like at the same time, it's like I get it. Like there's too many wide receivers now, and I guess he's the odd man out because he didn't like being in there. I guess.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think he's on his rookie contract, only his 2nd year.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to keep him, but
yeah, I think he's this year will be going into his this year will be going into his 3rd year, and I mean they got a high 2nd-round pick. I mean that's what 2nd-round pick 10, so I mean you got a good pick out of it. Don't get me wrong.
I don't really like it, but
yeah, I don't like giving up a 3rd-round pick for that, and the player. You know what I mean? Like I would almost rather a 4th or a 5th in the player to get the 2nd, but like I said, I think they kind of, this was almost, sorry about my dogs, by the way, they'll be done in just a second. This was kind of, in my opinion, we're not going to get as much value as we want just because we want them out of the building, right? That's kind of what this trade looks like to me. Another trade we had was a kicker trade, which is extremely rare. Zane Gonzalez, which, fun fact for those that y'all don't know, I like throwing this out there all the time just because I think it's cool. I actually went to high school with Zane Gonzalez and played football with Zane Gonzalez. He was kicker for the Panthers.
Who the better player was?
Do what? Fuck you for that, Nick. That's crazy. You just said that. Oh, goodness. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so he goes to San Francisco, and they pretty much just swap picks in 2025. So a draft 2 years from now, they swap. So I assume they probably swapped a 7th for a 6th or something like that. You know what I mean? I doubt it's a major difference in pick swaps. But the Panthers signed Zane to a 2-year contract last year. Zane happened to get hurt in August. I think he had a groin injury or something like that and was out for the season. And then they signed Eddie Pinheiro, and I guess they liked Eddie better than they did Zane. So I thought Zane was going to get released, and they said he was getting released. And then a couple days later, this trade came out. So Zane will be a 49er. I don't know if they have another kicker. So I think it's his job. I would assume if you're trading for a kicker that's going to be your starting kicker. So we'll see what happens there. Zane's had a weird career, unfortunately, but it happens.
Another kicker career, bro.
Yeah,
up and down.
Up and down for sure. I think he's a really good kicker and can be a good kicker in this league. But we'll see what happens. It was fun. It's funny, Nick, because back in high school and junior high, you would watch this kid kick, and I'd be like, this guy's going pro. I literally said that multiple times. I was like, he's going pro. He's going to be a kicker. Dude was hitting 40, 50-yard field goals in fucking junior high. It was nuts. Let's see. So that's going to wrap up any trades. So we're done with trades, transactions. Anything else we want to talk about before we hop into this or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. I think we covered all the bases of it. Let's see. So we made this tier list. We're gonna do it how like we
Yeah,
did
we
the
literally
previous one.
had to make this.
Yeah, there was no good
From
ones out
scratch.
there. We needed all the players on it and like because this year was weird. There was like 4 or 5 teams that had like dudes that started 5 games and then another dude started 15 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so we needed more than just the 32 quarterbacks. So we spent about 30 minutes, an hour making this shit real quick, but it's gonna work out for the best. We got an S tier, an A tier, a B, a C, and a D. Okay. Do we want to rearrange these real quick, Nick, or do we want to just? We can just do alphabetical.
I think we just go alphabetical.
Okay. All right. So this is again, like we said earlier, it's literally just based off of what they did last year and how they performed. Yeah. All right. So we got Aaron Rodgers to start with. Where are we thinking Aaron Rodgers is gonna go? I'd probably say he didn't have his greatest year. But then again, it's kind of Aaron Rodgers. I'd say like high B,
year,
maybe A.
I think he's got to start in B, I think.
Yeah.
For Andrew Rodgers, he had 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and then he had 3,695 yards.
Definitely a
It's
lot
not
of
the
interceptions for
greatest.
him.
You would like to see him maybe get 4K yards and then like maybe 7 interceptions, but
Plus, they missed the playoffs, so that's, you know what I mean, that's a big deal too. What we'll do as well, just for y'all like wondering, like we'll start at B, like when we say something like that. We're just saying like we might rearrange this at the end, but for right now, just
like
to
you
get
gotta
a
compare it
filler,
to who else is in the tier.
and then we'll go from there.
Else
And then what we'll also probably have is we don't typically like doing the like 1 to 32 number thing. But, like, if we see, like, 4 or 5 guys in the B tier and we're like, well, this guy's better than this guy, we'll put him towards the top of the B tier. So things like that as well. We got Andy Dalton next. I'd probably say, like, D.
I think for retrospect, I think you gotta put, like, I think all backups start in D, but then, like, I think we maybe can move the better ones to the top of D and say, like, those are, like, your quote-unquote top backups.
We'll start it. Yeah. We'll start them in D.
Just because if you're like, I just want to say like for I forgot what the word is, but like basically like a disclaimer, like if you're a backup and he's good, like you'd probably be a starter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
He's a backup for a fucking reason.
And I don't know how to address this Saints quarterback room for last year. Is like, would Andy Dalton be considered the backup or the starter? Because at the beginning of the year, Jameis Winston was the guy. He played like 3 games, and they said, "No, we're gonna go with Andy Dalton." So it's like, but I think D's a good starting spot, and then we'll get to that point to where we start fixing them and decide. Next one, we got Baker Mayfield. Are we considering him a backup? Because his situation is weird from the get-go, right? Like, he wasn't on the Panthers, started, was the starter going into the year, ended up getting traded to the Rams, or released, whatever you want to call it, and then ended up on the Rams, and Stafford was hurt, so he ended up taking over the starting job there. I'd say maybe C or D.
Even if he was a starter, I would probably still put him at like maybe the top of D. Because he wasn't great.
No, he wasn't at all. Alright, so next we got Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. This one, see, I look at him differently than everybody else does. So people watching this are going to be like, really, you put him there? But I feel like C is where I would put him for now.
Low key, I was honestly about it. Like, I was about to say C.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I said,
on that one.
If we feel like we need to move him up, we can, but that's where I'm putting him for now.
I don't know how many games he started, or how many games he actually played, but I know it wasn't, like, a lot, right?
I need to, hold on, let me see.
Brock, can you see, like, how many games he actually started?
Hold on.
Brock Purdy.
I want to pull up this website I have, but I don't remember what fucking website it was. Because it had, like, everything I needed to know.
Yeah, so it wasn't until like week 13 where he took over.
Okay.
Because week 7 he threw 9 passes. Um, is that a running attempt? Is that what that is? I don't even know.
Probably.
I think so. But then week 13 against the Dolphins, it looks like he took over basically. Because then he had 37 attempts. So basically week 13 to week 18, and then even in the playoffs, he played 2, right?
Yeah. Says he played 9 games. So I assume he started, 7 regular season games?
That is correct. He did play 9 games. And he played in 9 games, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, that's correct then. Okay, so with the limited amount of like snaps that he had, like I don't feel comfortable putting him in a B. He played like a B, sure, but I feel like he didn't play long enough to be considered a true B,
Can we
if that
also
makes
bring up the
sense.
fact of the talent he had around him? Like, that's got to make a difference to something in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like to be that guy,
Eh,
but
I feel like that's more of a hater mentality, but
is it? Okay.
just because I don't like that, because it's like look at Joe Burrow, like Tua, like all these quarterbacks that take leaps and play better is you have good players. Like it's just the nature of the game is get your quarterback weapons, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
But he
Um,
definitely played like a B on paper, but I would just like to see him play more than
like I
what he
said,
did.
we can maybe move him to the B tier. I like C right now. We'll see how the rest of this list shapes up and then go from there. Next, we got Carson Wentz. Definitely D tier.
I like how you put him right to the back too.
Any arguments there?
No.
Okay, cool. I feel
Like,
like there's no explanation needed on that one.
yeah,
uh,
no.
Next, we got Mr. Colt McCoy. I think he ended up playing 4 or 5 games around there. Again, backup, kind of put him D tier. I'm cool with that. Another backup, but one that you could argue did a
He
little bit
honestly
better than others.
played really good, honestly.
I'd say C tier maybe. Like,
Yeah, he's borderline C, I think, for
yeah,
backup play.
I
He
think
played
so.
pretty well.
Um,
Dak
Next,
Prescott.
yeah, this might be one of the starting quarterbacks I actually put in D tier.
Alright, so his stat line last year, he had 2,860 yards, 23 TDs, 15 interceptions.
Okay.
Is that's D tier worthy for you as a starter?
Wait, say that one more time.
2,860 yards, and then he had 23 TDs, 15 interceptions.
For me, it's the interceptions because he threw a lot of them at bad times.
Oh, I agree. 15 interceptions. Once you hit double digits, that's when it's like, okay, like, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah, 100%.
But 15, my lord,
Yeah. So you're cool with D tier?
I'm cool with D tier.
Yeah. Okay. Glad I'm not just being a hater and I'm actually like, you know. Um, all right, Daniel Jones. I think he played well enough to be B tier, right? Like he led his team to the playoffs. He had a good year. He earned himself a contract with this year. Like, I think he's definitely B tier worthy in my eyes.
I agree. I mean, for instance, here he had 3,205 yards, 15 TDs, only 5 interceptions. Again, you'd like to see him get more TDs, but with the team that was around him, the odds stacked against him, I think he played well enough to be a B tier type quarterback.
I like that.
But yeah, that's my argument.
All right. As always, it looks like me and Nick are literally on the same page with a lot of these guys. Next, we got Davis Mills, Mr. Longneck, number 32 out of 32 for this list, or 43 out of 43 in my eyes.
Yeah, it's 43, yeah.
Yeah, this fucking guy.
That is fucking Jesus.
I can't stand him, man. I cannot stand him.
So his stats, you want me to read them for you?
Yes.
He was right underneath Daniel Jones for passing yards. He had 3,108, 118, 17 TDs, 15 interceptions.
Jesus.
So he's basically throwing a touchdown, throwing a pick, throwing a touchdown, throwing a pick. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
My lord.
Not good at all. Next we got Mr. Derek Carr, who, and I guess for his standards, probably had a lesser year. A lot of drama surrounding that. Ended up.
I think he's got to go C tier.
I was
top of C tier.
Yeah, I think so too.
He had a bad year, man. I mean, he almost threw as many interceptions as Dak Prescott. We had him in D tier.
What's crazy is Dak Prescott missed 6 games and still threw more interceptions. That's bad.
He literally threw one more touchdown and one less interception with that.
Next we got Deshaun Watson, definitely going D tier. Small sample size. Played
he was
6 games.
Awful.
He was bad.
He was awful.
Yeah, he was bad. Definitely had a lot of rust on him. I'm very interested to see if that changes this upcoming year. I really don't know. But we'll see. Yeah, he definitely
Worst trade
not
of all
good.
time in NFL history pending right
As
now.
of right now, yeah.
That's incredible. And worst contract and worst trade. Like that's
his team's fucked.
That's fucked.
Next we got Geno Smith, and see, this is where I'm trying.
Decision.
This is where I'm trying to figure out like where we dignify like the difference between like A and B, right? Like, and I'm thinking in my eyes, right? Like didn't he win comeback player of the year?
Yeah.
Had a good year, was an MVP candidate at one point. Are we going to say that Geno played better than Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers? Because if that's the case, I feel like we put him in A.
He was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He was top 10 in yards, right?
Okay.
And he threw 30 TDs with 11 interceptions, almost completing 70% of his passes. I think he is the highest passer completion.
Yeah, I feel like that's an A tier to me.
So it's like that's an A tier type quarterback.
Yeah.
Man. Like
Okay.
he balled out.
All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page with that. That way we can like differentiate. Like, all right, these are the guys we're putting here, and then that's the difference, right? You know what I mean? Next we got Jacoby Brissett. He didn't do bad when he played. I was thinking maybe C tier for him. Maybe
but
high D.
high D or C. We'll have to see how it shapes up.
All right. Next we got Jalen Hurts.
It's already A.
You think A? You're not going.
I don't think he's
S?
S. I don't think he's S.
Okay, we'll revisit that. But next we got Jared Goff. I'd probably put a B.
Yeah. That's all, man.
Okay. All right. Next we got Mr. Jimmy G. He played. How many games did he play?
I don't think it was a lot. I think he just passed him. I think he's at the top there.
He played 11 games. 2,400 yards. What did he have? 16 to 4 interceptions. 66 QBR. Where's his completion percentage? 67.
I think.
I mean, he
I
played
think he's-
well.
I think he's low B.
Low B. Okay, yeah, that's where I was gonna put him. I feel like he
Like,
played
he's-
on par. Like
He's
if he
above
played the whole
average,
season,
you know what I mean?
yeah, I feel like if he played the whole season, he'd be on par with like a Jared Goff or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Next we got Joe Burrow. Definitely gonna be A or S. It's just the difference of what are we categorizing as S. What's the thing that's
I
Gonna
think
put
he
us
can go
there.
S with him.
I think so.
He had
Okay.
35 TDs, 12 interceptions, 4.4K yards. Like I thought that's S tier for me.
Yeah, and that's where again we'll revisit that. Josh Allen, we got next.
He played A for this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say
A or B, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely think he's bottom A tier. Next we got Justin Fields. Nick probably wants to put in a D. I think he at least deserves a C. as far as like just I don't know.
I think he's a D, man. He was awful.
He was bad passing the ball. Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. It's a quarterback though. He ain't a running back.
No, I know, but nowadays it's all in one. Quarterbacks can run the ball now, so it's like you got to take into account some of that at least. Next we got Justin Herbert. I feel like is a B tier guy for me. What is Herbert's stats? Let me see.
10 interceptions, 25 TDs, second most passing yards in the league.
Were you saying A then for that?
Yeah, I feel like it.
I think so. All right, we got Mr. Kenny Pickett. I'd probably put a D or a C. Do we think he played as good as Brissett, Cooper Rush, Brock Purdy, Derek Carr?
Talking about him at the beginning of the season.
No, I mean if he goes C,
the end
it's
of the
definitely
season,
the
he honestly
end.
wasn't bad. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like he's probably got to be. I think he can go C.
Okay.
What were his stats? Let me see. Kenny.
Played 13 games.
I feel like it wasn't terrible.
2,400 yards, 63 completion percentage, 7 to 9 touchdown interception ratio though.
Ooh.
But that offense was fucking like horrendously bad, like altogether.
All right, put him at the top of D then.
All right.
Not a great rookie season.
Yeah.
At all.
Next we got Kirk Cousins. I feel like Kirk Cousins is an A.
He had 29 TDs, 14 interceptions.
He had 14
4.5
interceptions this year. Maybe that's B worthy.
yards.
Jesus, I didn't realize he had that many interceptions this year.
A lot of people looking at stats, not a lot of quarterbacks threw a lot of interceptions this year.
Yeah.
Like even Mahomes has 12.
Yeah, Mahomes struggled a bit there for a bit. So what are we thinking? B tier with Rodgers?
I think so.
Okay. All right, next we got Kyler Murray. I think is a C tier, D tier. He didn't play.
Yeah.
He didn't look
He didn't
good.
play a lot, and he didn't play good at all.
Yeah. So we're saying C.
I think so.
Okay. Lamar Jackson didn't play the great. Well, I mean, he started off the year really good, and then kind
first
of
2 weeks and then
yeah.
fell off. Let me pull up his stats. I actually don't really know what he was doing.
2,200 yards, 17 to 7 touchdown interception ratio. 12 games, 62% completion.
I'm gonna go.
He also had 764 yards rushing at that time, by the way.
I'm gonna go B.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling.
If he would have played more, I'd feel better in A, but he didn't play enough.
All right, let's see. Next, we got Mac Jones. Definitely a D.
Awful this year.
Yeah. Malik Willis, definitely a D.
Wait, somewhere at the back. At the back of D.
Marcus Mariota, definitely a D, right?
Yeah, 100% a D.
All right. Matt Ryan, definitely a D.
Yep.
A lot of bad quarterback play this year, which we kind of knew, but oh shit. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, he barely played either.
Yeah. Matt Stafford, he struggled there for a bit and hardly played.
Play?
It's Baker. Fucking A. Oh, passing. Team. 9 games, 2,000 yards, 10 to 8 touchdown interception ratio.
Yeah, just put him in D.
Yeah.
Get it done. He wasn't good either.
All right, next we have Mitch Trubisky. I think if Pickett's a D, Trubisky definitely's got to be a D as well. All right, Patrick Mahomes, S tier. PJ Walker, who I don't think played the very badly, but I still feel like he's in the D tier. He only played like 6 games, kind of not a whole lot to see.
I mean, he didn't do a whole lot either.
Yeah. Next we got Russell Wilson. I'm thinking that's a D.
I think so. I think he's somewhere like you can probably put him at the top of D later, but for sure he's in the D tier. He wasn't very good.
Next we got Ryan Tannehill. I don't even know what Tannehill did. He didn't have a good year.
He was probably D as well.
Yeah.
He didn't play a lot, and he wasn't.
2,500 yards, 13 to 6 interception ratio. I think D as well. Next we got Sam Darnold. I mean, a D, right?
Somewhere at the back of
like,
D.
All these dudes just, man. Skylar Thompson, definitely a D, right?
Yeah, I think he's like a mid D. He wasn't terrible. He was better than something like a lot of those backups.
Taylor Heineke, for me, I'd probably put C tier. I think he's better than these guys.
I don't know.
9 games, 1,800 yards, 12 to 6 interception ratio.
I think you got to put him in D.
I mean, he had very similar stats to Wentz, so I feel like if we're putting Wentz there, he's got to be next to Wentz. You know what I mean?
Tom Brady's probably finishing his career in a C to B range.
That's kind of where I was getting to.
Like,
what do you have?
I think he
4,600 yards. He was
third in
25
yards
to 9.
Yeah, he was third in yards though. I don't know. I guess you can maybe put him at the back of B.
I think so.
He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great.
Yeah. Next we got Trevor Lawrence. What did Trevor Lawrence do?
What did his accident was Tom Brady, just less yards?
Yeah, pretty much.
One less interception.
So would we put him in B tier as well?
I think so.
Yeah, I like B tier as well. Led his team to the playoffs, had some good comebacks as well. Mr. Tua Tagovailoa.
I think you gotta put him at the top of B.
The top of B? Do we
I
think there's any bias in that?
Absolutely not.
If
it was biased, I would have said A.
25 to 8. 13 games. Yeah, he's got similar stats to fucking...
If he would have actually played, he would have easily been an A quarterback.
No, 100%.
He just didn't play enough games, like a lot of games.
Tyler Huntley, probably D tier, right? He didn't impress me when he played.
I think he's C.
You think he's C?
I don't think he's B.
I said D, my guy.
Oh, D. My bad. Yeah, D. I thought you said B.
Guy had 658 yards in 6 games with 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. That's D material all day.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here. Zach Wilson goes in D. Done.
Jeez, there's so many fucking dudes in D.
Okay. We'll start from the back maybe. And then...
Yeah, because then you can push people up and down.
Yeah. Alright,
so for D, so who's at the top of D? You got Russell Wilson at the top right now. Who do you think is better? Do you think anyone was better in D? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, you could
in
maybe...
the group of D,
you could maybe make the argument for, like, Dak, but... Are we thinking Russell up to C, then?
I think so. I think he's better than the trash cans we have in here.
Yeah.
Alright, so... I think Dak's got to move behind... What's his name? Matthew Stafford, or in front of Matthew Stafford. I think he's the guy to beat now in D.
Yeah, I think he's definitely the top.
He played the most games, I think, as well. I think Tannehill probably jumps Stafford. Is that Kenny Pickett? I don't think he's moving. Skylar Thompson's not moving. I think you can move Fields in front of Thompson for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I know Mac Jones was bad, but in comparison to like what everybody
he could
else
probably
is,
go up. He could probably move up to in front of even Justin Fields, even probably.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think he was. as bad as Fields was.
I think Baker can come like here, maybe in front of Skylar too.
Yeah, he goes on Skylar. Skylar was just a
Um,
backup.
yeah,
It wasn't
no,
bad.
for
It wasn't
sure.
great.
Definitely
I think maybe Andy Dalton is the only last one I'd maybe move up.
to like here, yeah.
And I think that's probably it.
Um,
Because the
I'm
rest of these
wondering.
guys are on par with not being good.
I feel like Heineke and Wentz maybe need to move up a little bit because I feel like Heineke was better than these dudes, and Heineke and Wentz
Yeah.
literally did like the same shit.
Yeah. I think you gotta leave Watson last, Malik there. I think Zach Wilson's gotta go probably top 3 worst quarterbacks, right? He was not good. I think Mariota can stay there. He can stay. I think that's probably fair, right?
Yeah,
Those are like your
Yeah.
bottom 4 quarterbacks right there.
yeah,
Like we have them even ranked worse than even backups.
pretty much. Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I think.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
All right, so jumping up to C then, we have Derek Carr at the top. Is that Brock Purdy,
Yeah,
Cooper
I
Rush?
feel like Purdy was maybe better than Carr.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then I
Cooper
think,
Rush, I feel like maybe goes to the back.
yeah, I guess because he's a backup.
Yeah,
I think I'm fine with that, honestly.
okay, I like that too.
Um,
All right, so B tier. Is there anybody we think needs to drop down, or are we cool with all these guys being on the same tier? I feel like I'm cool with it.
the only one I'd even consider is probably Jimmy, but I think Jimmy can just go to the back.
Okay. I feel like Brady and Lawrence. Hold on. Let me just. I didn't see Jared Goff's stats. 4,400, 29-7. Goff, Brady, Lawrence literally had like identical seasons.
Yeah.
Rodgers, I feel like, was worse than them, especially
He has more
stats-wise.
interceptions.
Yeah, and less yards, like way
He
less
had less
yards.
yards, and I think he has the same amount of TDs. Where is he? He
He's
has
got
26
26.
TDs, but he has less yards, and he's got.
more
I think yeah, him and
interceptions.
Tua are really on par with each other, and Tua missed how many games?
Yeah. I feel like he definitely goes there. I feel like
I think you can. I think whoever you move. I think if you move Brady to the front or to behind Kirk, I think that's where Brady can go behind Kirk, and then you move the other ones is like right behind them as well. Yeah, and then Tua's there, Lamar's there. I think that's probably how I'd have
I
it.
think I like that one, yeah. I think just for I wanted to say that I feel like Lawrence should be above Brady because he made the playoffs, but Brady made the playoffs as well. Granted, dude had a losing record. But I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
cool
they
with
literally
that.
have similar stats, and Brady had
Yeah.
a bit more yards.
Bit
It's
more
like
yards, yeah.
you can literally.
These are like 1A, 1B right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
And honestly, same
feel
with
like
Goff.
all
Like he's in
those-
this whole like range. I feel like all dudes were
yeah,
the
like
same.
Tua to Tom Brady. If Tua played, probably would all have
Yeah.
similar. Like they all would have probably finished around the same. Which I'm
Alright.
fine with because if you leave it like that, it's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like you're saying these guys are like the 8 to like 10 range, which is probably pretty close. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think so. Alright, so
I think
next
that's
we
fine with
got
me.
A tier. I definitely think. Let's see.
I think Josh Allen goes last, and then Gino's behind him.
Or in front of him or behind him?
I think Gino's in front of him.
Okay.
I think Gino was better than
My only argument for this, and this is no bias, this is just the top 3 MVP candidates for like the remainder of the end of the season were Hurts, Mahomes, and Burrow. So I feel like if you make that argument, I feel like Hurts belongs in the S tier. Because I feel like in my eyes, Hurts did better than these 3 guys did. and led his team a lot better than these three guys did. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
I'm
like
looking at Hurts stats right now, and they just don't impress me.
yeah, but
22
that
TDs, 6 interceptions, and not even 4K yards
Nick,
on a
but
stacked Super Bowl team.
Nick, this is my thing. You are solely basing things on passing stats. This is not a passing league anymore. The quarterbacks run the ball. You know what I mean? Like that has to count for something. I get what you're saying with the passing thing. Like I agree. The dude did not have like passing stats, but if you look at what he did running the ball as well, like that has to count for something. You know what I mean? Because he literally had
So if we add his
760
stats
yards,
here, let's see.
13 rushing touchdowns.
Let's see here. Where is it?
And then what was his passing stats? Where's passing? And then you can also make the argument of look at how that stacked team looked with Gardner Minshew. They lost 2 games. It's more so like not the fact that it was a stacked team. It was more so of how he led that team and got them to where they got to. Because I feel like if it was any other quarterback, they wouldn't have gotten to the Super Bowl. Because he had, 3,700 yards if you wanted to go that
So if we
route.
were to put his yards together, his yards would be 4.4 with his passing.
Yeah.
So that would put him at still behind Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Total TDs would put him at 35.
Which would be right there with Joe Burrow.
They'd be right behind Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, ahead of Geno Smith. And he would have like 11 like turnovers in total. Which would put him again almost like tied for like top 10. There's 1, 2.
Top 10?
1, 2. Like in turnovers.
Oh. Because he would have had less turnovers than Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, all of them, wouldn't he? Even with 11? Because they all threw like 15 interceptions.
With who, sorry?
He would have less turnovers still than Mahomes and Burrow,
12.
right? Yeah.
Mahomes had 12.
And then if you have Mahomes
Burrow
fumbles in there.
12.
Yeah, so that would still be less turnovers than Mahomes and Burrow.
I'm just saying, he doesn't impress me at all, to be honest.
No, I know. But
that's
my argument there. I in my list, I would put him S tier. The team made the fucking Super Bowl. And we saw how the team looked without Jalen Hurts. That's my argument. But for this list, we'll leave him in A. And then Mahomes would be 1, Burrow would be 2 for sure. I think that's it, right?
I think so.
Damn, there was horrendous quarterback play. I want to look. When did we do a... Hold on, let me see. Did we do a quarterback ranking here or... Videos. Which episode did we do a quarterback ranking?
Oh, I think it's the next one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did the next one or the one before it?
With my co-host. Oh, Nick? It was this one. Okay. So let's see. This is how we ranked it going into the season. We had Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes, Allen, Herbert. Yeah. And then we had Lamar, Burrow, Wilson, Prescott, Murray, Stafford, Carr, Cousins, in A tier.
Okay, wait, hold on. So, for the S tier alone, Rodgers... So Rodgers dropped from S to what?
B, yeah.
Tom Brady dropped from S to B as well, right?
S
Mahomes
to
stayed S.
Yeah, B. Yeah.
Allen went from S to A. Herbert went from S to A. Lamar dropped to B. Burrow went up. Russ dropped to almost a C type play. Dak is in C, right? Or Dak is
Dak
in
is in
B.
D.
D.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's probably the biggest fall off. Murray is also, I think, in D, right? Or
Yeah.
C. Matt Stafford fell off. Derek Carr fell off. Kirk probably stayed the same, I think, right?
Yeah, because he's very top of B, and he was
Uh,
back of A, so he's about the same. Tannehill
Tannehill
fell
fell off.
off.
Watson fell off.
Yeah.
Hurts got a lot better. Tua got a lot better. Mac Jones got even worse.
Barely, yeah.
Matt Ryan went down
Matt Ryan
a
died.
bit. Baker went down. Davis Mills became one of the worst quarterbacks.
And Lawrence shot up.
Lawrence became one of the top 10, I think he's probably around in there right
1,
now.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Winston
7, 8,
stayed.
9, yeah.
Winston stayed in D, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones went to B. Jared Goff went up to B. Justin Fields stayed at D.
Wilson
Zach.
stayed.
What's that guy's name? The white guy?
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. He didn't even play, so they all stayed D. Mariota stayed D.
Trubisky stayed D.
And then Trey Lance stayed D because we literally knew nothing about him, and he's still a D because we know nothing about him.
So overall, just a lot worse quarterback play because we really only had 4 guys move up, but we had it seemed like 12 guys move down. You know what I mean? Like we literally went from 5 S tier players to 2, maybe 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 A tier players to 4. So you figure we had 13 S and A players, and now we literally only have 6. That's crazy.
There's just a lot of
mediocre play. Yeah, mediocre quarterback play this year. Crazy.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's
I
nuts.
think next episode we can do the team rankings before the draft, and then after that we can just kick out some mock drafts, talk about potential sleeper picks, whatever.
So next week we'll probably do a team ranking on last year's teams, right?
Yep.
And then like you said, some mock drafts or something. We can even maybe pull some scouting reports on some of the top 5 quarterbacks in the draft or whatever, you know what I mean, and rank the incoming quarterbacks or something. Yeah, we'll figure out some stuff to do for sure.
Yeah, next episode definitely team rankings. Can't wait to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like we said, the quarterback play this year definitely.
Yeah.
Watching the highlights and stuff like that, you can tell a lot of quarterback play felt just really bad.
And I mean, we knew that, but putting it in this form is crazy to see. It really opens your eyes up to it. You know what I mean? Because even if you look at Herbert, I still feel didn't play as good as he could. Allen didn't play as good as he could. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Tom Brady didn't play nearly as good.
Yeah.
Tua got hurt. Jackson got hurt. Daniel Jones could have probably did more if he had more help.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers definitely didn't play good.
Aaron Rodgers fell off like a motherfucker.
What I'm saying, it's just crazy. It's what the fuck happened? But I don't know. You can agree, you can disagree. Let us know in the comments. Because that's a lot of players in the fucking D tier.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That's two whole rows.
The D tier is rough, and what's crazy is they all belong there. I don't think you could. Oh, Janine said Daniel Jones top 5.
Top 5.
That's funny. I like that.
Yeah, there's no bias in that comment at all.
But with that being said, let us know in the comments what you would prefer. Comment, subscribe. Yeah, I think that's going to wrap up this episode. And we will see y'all next week. Peace.